Hey guys, Joseph here. Now in this video, I'm going to be talking about, well, just silver order for weapons and basically just doing some tips on them, just, what to buy, when to buy them, etc. Now, I'm going to be focusing on Normandy, so I'm going to be looking at the entire campaign and basically saying what you should save for, what you should get, what you shouldn't get. There's, obviously, of course, this is all subjective, but these are just some universal things that I think you should get. But first, I want to talk about some tips and tricks first. So that'll be the video. The first part of the video is going to be some tips how to save some silver orders, and then the second part is basically what I would recommend. So let us begin. Now, for the first part, this is actually something which I only started using recently because it wasn't in the game at the time, but it's this system. Where is it? I'll find it. The weapon transfer system. As you can see here, I can transfer over this Sten gun for only one bronze order. Now, if I go into Tunisia for the allies, let me just find Sten gunner. You can see here I can transfer over. Yeah, it costs 4, but it's a Sten. 4 bronze orders for a Sten isn't that bad. And that's only level 2, right? Now, the Sten in Tunisia is only 1 silver order. The same goes with the Lancaster. The Thompson is 2, so yeah. But in Normandy, all of these weapons are 3 silver orders. I only addressed those 3 because they're the big 3 you should. You can see here, 3 silver orders. So, it's really, do you spend 1 silver order and 4 bronze orders, which again, much easier to get. Bronze orders are much easier to get than silvers. Or do you spend 3 silver orders? Now, I would personally go with the 1 bronze order. Because let's face it, getting to level 6, I believe it is, for the Lancaster, and level 14 for the Thompson. Level 8 for the Lancaster. And level 14 for the Thompson. That's not hard to do, even in Tunisia. And that's the main thing with... And it goes both ways as well. It does go both ways. The same with Tunisia, you can get the Garand, which is a level 1, which is, it's a tier 1 weapon in Normandy. You can get to a level 25. Now, this isn't just for Normandy, Tunisia, and vice versa. Stalingrad is another good example of this, because you can get the Gavir 41 and the ZH29 for very cheap, for 1 silver order and 2 silver order respectively, when in, say, Moscow, for example, let's use Moscow, they're both 3 silver orders. In the same goes with Tunisia. I believe they're both 3 silver orders in Tunisia. Yeah, they're both 3 silver orders in Tunisia as well. So there's that. The Soviets, I believe, also have a similar one with the the SVT and the with the SVT here, which again, not level 9 for 1 silver order is a lot better than saving up for a billion, saving up for 3 silver orders and then transferring them over. Berlin is the king of this because they're basically, I would recommend trying to get to level 10 on Berlin, just because they get so many good weapons for cheap. I mean, maybe level 14 as well, because you can get the MP35 for cheap as well. Because usually that's 3 orders in other campaigns. But you get the MG34 and the 42 for 1 and 2 silver orders, when in most campaigns they're 3 to 4 to 3 silver orders, respectively. You also get stuff like the, obviously the Gavir 43, obviously, but that's not other campaigns. But for the Soviets, you get stuff like the PPD with the drum, which is 2 silver orders. You get the SVT, which is 2 in Stalingrad. You also get the DP27, which is, 1 here, but it's 3 in the other campaigns. If I remember correctly, or it's 2 in Stalingrad. I can't remember. What is it in Stalingrad? I actually can't remember what the DP is. It's 2 in Stalingrad, but 1 in the other campaign in Berlin. Now, there are some weapons where it's just better to straight up buy them, such as the M1 Thompson, the BAR A2. These are, 3 silver orders across all campaigns. The same goes with the machine gun, the very late stuff, the FG-42, the DT-29, the MG-34, the drum, all of those weapons, it's better to, just buy them straight up than transfer them over. Now, that being said, what to spend your silver orders on normally in Normandy? I'm only going to do this on Normandy because I've got the most experience on Normandy, but you can probably transfer this over to other campaigns. So, as everyone already knows, I don't like these bolt actions, these early bolt actions. The Ross rifle, the Mannlicher and the Maz. And the reason for that is because the Kar 98K exists, and this thing has a bayonet by default. Well, obviously I don't have bayonets on only a few of these, because, well, obviously I've got a lot, but obviously, there's a few weapons I don't have that many bayonets for. But the reason the car is so good, in my opinion, is because it has the bayonet, and it has the, it's a good bolt action compared to something like the Maz and the Mannlicher. The Maz has the bayonet, but, it has reduced damage. I mean, yeah, it's fine at close range, but the car's free as well. That's another thing with the car. It's free to buy, so unlike the other two, the Mannlicher and the Maz. So that's the first advice. Don't buy these two. If you're using scopes, buy the Kar 98K scoped, and buy this Springfield scopes. Don't buy this one. Don't bother this one. It's too overpriced. But when you get to level 7, that's when you should probably start spending your silver orders, and that is on these Garands and Gewehr 43s. Now, the reason why you want to spend them on these three is because they are really good semi-automatic rifles. Now, I would say they're 9 out of 10 weapons. The only reason they're not 10 out of 10 is because they get outclassed by a later weapon in the campaign. But you can see here, it's got really good damage, like 12 damage, decent rate of fire, good reload, it's got manageable recoil. The Grand is the exact same thing. You can also attach bayonets onto these if you have them, so... But the Grand's the exact same thing. Of course, it's got the M1 bayonet here, which is really awesome. But yeah, the Grand, of course, you can put the bayonet on, and you can see here, basically the same rate of fire, almost identical. The only difference is 8-round magazine and slightly less recoil. But yeah, those are the big ones you should grab first. As soon as you reach level 10, around level 7, level 10, that's when you should grab them first. The second thing you should grab first is SMGs. Now, these are, again, pre-level 10. For the Allies, it's the M3A1, unfortunately. Don't bother buying an M3 ever, because the M3 is rubbish. Well, they're both rubbish, but SMGs. But the M3A1 it's better in every way. It's still a piece of crap, but it's better in every way than the M3. For the Axis, you actually have quite a bit to go over. The MP34 is alright. Okay, it's an alright SMG. If you need the MP34, it's an alright SMG. It will carry you for a good portion of the game. It gets outclassed by the 35, in my opinion, but it's still very good. The MP40 will probably get you until the MP43. The MP40 is so good. And the FNAB is good if you like shooting marshmallows at the enemy. So really, you've got choices here. So that's the second thing you should grab. So after you've grabbed your rifles, you should probably, or even in between, you should grab what you want. Now, here's the thing. You will get a free copy of each of these when you unlock them. So when you look in the tech tree, you can see here, level 5, you get a free copy of the FNAB here, you get a free copy of the Gewehr here, you get a free copy of the Sturm Pistol, MP40, yada yada yada. The same goes with the Allies with the with the grease gun. Now, basically, use that and try and determine what you like the most. If you like the MP34 more than the MP40 and the FNAB, buy the MP34. If you like the FNAB seek mental help. No, I'm joking. You know, use the FNAB. More power to you. Enjoy being shunned. And if you like the MP40, use the MP40 over the other weapons. The third thing you should grab is team weapons. Now, at the start, it's only going to be the Flammenwerfer 35, the Sturm Pistol, the Piat, and the M1 Flamethrower. Now, the one thing you should do is buy them when you need them. Now, obviously, I have a shitload of flamethrowers and stuff like that. The reason I have those is because, well, I bought a lot of bronze order boxes, so I got a lot of flamethrowers. You should not be buying... You should only buy... If you do buy flamethrowers, you should only buy one of them. And that is because you only need to buy one, which is the M1 flame... You know, one copy, because you get a copy by default. And you get, you know... And you only need to buy one because you can only use 2 flamethrowers. Which is, obviously, you can see here, in a flamethrower, because you can only get 2 flamethrowers. With the anti-tank weapons, only buy them when you need to. So you can see here, again, I've got a lot of Panzerfausts and a lot of Sturm Pistols. Again, mostly from the bronze boxes. But only buy them when needed. So, for example, I often buy... As you can see here, I've got, with my squads, I would run 6 Panzerfausts, because you get 1 in this squad, 1 in each of these, and then this would later have a Panzerfaust, whereas this squad doesn't have a Panzerfaust, because it's my Assault Pioneer squad. But, the same goes with the Piat as well, basically planning ahead, that's the main aim of the game. Plan ahead and, use that. For mid-ranged weapons, again, same story, but, different things. Don't bother with the carbine with grenade launcher if you don't want it. Use it as, I use it every now and again as, here, you can see here, I've got 1 here. But, really, this is just more of a, just because I've got it, and it's a 5-star. And because I don't want to bother buying the Garand with the grenade launcher, a copy of the Garand with the grenade launcher, which is fine, I guess. The Garand with the grenade launcher is really good because it's a Garand, and I like the Garand. But the yeah, that's the thing as well. You should probably not do this for the the second thing I said was the assault weapons. Don't bother with the Winchester. I mean, the same goes to the Axis as well. Maybe the Sniper Gavir if you want a semi-automatic sniper, but I wouldn't say it's worth it. I mean, yeah, it's a good weapon, but maybe not, the 2 silver investment. I mean, the car's still insanely solid. For the shooting cup, it's alright, but, it's a maybe weapon. For the Beretta here, that's again another maybe. It really depends on your playstyle. Like, if you're really aggressive like I am, then maybe using the Beretta is not bad. But if you're more passive, then it's better to stick with the MP40, MP34, and the FNAB. And when it comes to the weapons, Braiders, don't bother getting. You're not going to like using these. These are a piece of shit. It's better to just use a bunch of riflemen with Gavir 43s. Gruntwerfers, no. And the MG34, very good, very, very good weapon. Just a very good weapon. And, I would say, again, like I said earlier, do the Berlin trick of going Berlin. Oh no, that was Tunisia. Wrong. I'm so used to it Berlin being there, that's why I did it. Go to Berlin, buy an MG34 in Berlin. Grind up Berlin, I think it's only like level 8. Level 9. Not hard to get to level 9. Like, you can see here, most of these, it will take a match to get to probably the Drellin. It'll take a match to get to, or 2 to get to the Drellin. Another 2 matches, maybe get to here. when you get to here, you should probably start grinding out the levels. Especially when you get the MP34, the MP40, I meant, not 34. When you get the MG34, that's when you get here. And yeah, so yeah, buy some of those in Berlin and transfer them over. The Allies don't get that luxury because their heavy weapons are the BAR and the Bren, which aren't in other campaigns. But with these, it really depends. Like, I'd recommend buying a few Brens, buy a few BARs, you know, get a feel of the BAR, kind of figure out which one you should use, and then make your final judgment based on that. For the level 30 weapons, unfortunately, it's going to have to be the big thing to grab FG42s and M2 carbines. These are just great weapons. The M2 carbine you can probably withhold. If you prefer mid to long range engagements, withhold them and use the Garand instead. Like, use this Garand, not this Garand, this Garand. This Garand's better because it had the grenade launcher, but this Garand's cheaper, so yeah. For the old SMGs, same trick as always. You know, Tunisia for these three. This one buy normally. For the Axis, the ZK and the Beretta doesn't have any real free transfers. You know, cheaper transfers. Whereas the MP35 does, which is Berlin at level 14. For the MP43, you know, doesn't matter. Buy it anywhere because it's always going to be a 3-star order. The same goes with the FG. You know, it's always going to be a 3-star. Avoid this like the plague. Buy an FG42 too if you really want to, but it's not the best weapon. MG42, it's better to buy these in Berlin again. For the drum mag, doesn't really matter. For these two, again, doesn't really matter because they're both 3 stars in every campaign. Same with the anti-tank weapons and the flamethrowers because you can't actually transfer over secondary weapons. Now, there's one thing I've been missing, which is pistols. Now, pistols should not be bought just willy-nilly, okay? Obviously, buy a pistol every now and again. They're good for close range, especially the Walter PP and the pistol, the Colt New Service. Check out my pistol guide for videos on this, especially the 1911, you know, and all of these weapons, you know. These are more if you have, you know, if you have the option, use them. Like you can see here, I've got Lugers, I've got, you know, stuff like that. But if you have the option, pick them up. If you don't, then just don't worry about it. Anyways, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys... That's just been, you know... Oh, and here's the final thing. Gold orders. Most of the time, you shouldn't bother with them. But some gold orders work well. So, for the allies... Peterson device, don't bother. M2 carbine... If you're in the very early game, like... I'm talking... the extreme early game... Then maybe get this. Like before the Thompson, maybe get this. The Peterson rifle, not really good in Normandy. It's much better in Tunisia. The Hyde, again, same with the M2 carbine. Suppressed weapons, same with the M2 carbine. M2A1 carbine. For the Axis, I can't actually show the Gewehr 43, but I'll talk it over. The Schmeiser, don't bother. Don't bother with this one. It's bad. I've made a video on it. It's bad. MKB is pretty good, but yeah, I would say again more early game. The same goes with the Irma EMP. This one's much better in Berlin than Normandy. This is still really good, so still a really solid weapon. Suppressed weapons, don't bother, and the Gewehr 43 Kurtz, 100% grab this. It doesn't matter. Like, I need to grab this in Berlin, to be honest, but this thing is a monster weapon. It is arguably one of the best. I would say this is a top 5 Axis weapon. Maybe even top 3 Axis weapon. I would say this is top 3 Axis weapons across all campaigns. The only thing I think which is better than it is its older brother, is its younger brother, the MP43. Which I would say, this is better, but if you've got this in, it doesn't matter Berlin or Normandy. Always grab this first. If you're obviously, of course, it really depends if you're grinding out the faction. I'm actually gonna make a gold order video soon, so yeah, stay tuned for that. Anyways, I'm gonna end the video here. It's been a very long and rambly one, but I just had to pull out as many stops as I could. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.